Hello and welcome back. In this session, we will explore polymorphism in C#, one of the core principles of object-oriented programming. Polymorphism allows us to write code that work with objects of different type through a shared base, class, or interface. So, before we're gonna start with Visual Studio, let's have a look about the official definition of polymorphism. Polymorphism or many-shape is gonna enable you to define method in a base class and override them in a derived class. When you use a base class reference, the overridden method in the derived class is executed dynamically at runtime. This is gonna make your code flexible, extensible, and easier to maintain. Let's switch back to Visual Studio, and we defined here a payment base class with an attribute called amount. And as you can see, we have a method, have a name, process payment, which contain a virtual method for processing payment. And this is gonna be considered as a first implementation for this method. But as we know, virtual, it means that this method, it will have a different implementation inside the derived class. So in our case, let's go and create the derived class. We can call it credit card, and that one gonna inherit from payment class. And here the credit card, it will have public string card number, act as an attribute with getter and setter. Later on, we will use public override keyword to give a different implementation for void process payment. And here inside process payment, we will define a different implementation for this one. We can take that one as a copy and paste it here. I'm gonna say processing a payment of amount using credit card and provide the card number property. Then I define it another one, call it PayPal payment, which are gonna have a property, call it email, and have a different implementation for process payment using the override keyword. And finally, let's use polymorphism to process payment dynamically. We will create a list of payment object and call the process payment method on each. To do something like that, we have a list and we're gonna provide to the data type of the list payment class, and we have here the name of the list, new list payment. Then inside that one, we're gonna have the two object, new credit card, and we are initializing this one with some values, card number and amount. And for the PayPal, we are providing the amount and the email property. And here inside the for each, we're gonna process the payment. For each var payment in payments gonna be payment.process payment. So when this application gonna run, it will have this output. Let me see together. Here it's gonna have processing a credit card payment, and here the payment, and processing a PayPal payment, and here is the amount for this email. So what is happening here, we're gonna say the base class ensure the consistent behavior, while the derived classes are adding a specific functionality for a different payment method. And that's basically what we call it polymorphism behavior, which is gonna use a list of payment that store objects for both type. That's basically what we did here. And for each process payment, we have a different implementation that is basically executed dynamically for each object. So to sum it up here all, we have here a base class, and that one is called payment, that provide a shared interface for processing payment. Then we have here two derived classes the credit card and PayPal payment class, both of them override the process payment method to provide a specific implementation. And down there we have something called polymorphism behavior, that is basically process the payment dynamically for each object. So let's get back to the benefits of polymorphism. We can say the code reusability. The base class handles shared logic, reducing duplication. Its flexibility. It's like easily to add new payment method by creating additional derived classes. Its dynamic behavior, because the correct method is called dynamically at runtime based on the object type. And definitely its scalability, because the system can grow without modifying the existing code. So right now for your assignment, I would recommend to go and create a notification base class with a send notification method, derive class for email notification and SMS notification. Override the send notification method in each class to display a specific message. Test your code by creating a list of notifications and send the notifications dynamically. It will be a great job that you have learned and covered how polymorphism allows dynamic behavior in C# and how to build flexible system like payment processing. In the next session, we will explore more about abstract class and interface.